So I want to get started with basically what the bigness of this whole problem is. So if you guys look at my foot right here, from the side, when you look at it from the side, you should see the blade of my foot flush against the surface of where I'm walking with no gaps. Now, ideally, from the side, you should see an arch. This shoe does not have an arch at the sole, but if it were to follow the contours of a normal foot, you would see that there is an arch there. So it's complicated because on the one side of the foot, it's flat, but on the other side, you've got this arch. So if you look at a footprint, if you got the big toe right here and the four smaller toes right there, on the outside, this should be flush to the ground, and you've got the heel right there. However, on the inside, you've got that arch. So it's a fairly complicated structure, and we ask a lot of it. And ultimately, what happens is we're all running around all day wearing these things, shoes. And we start wearing shoes from a very young age. I mean, I've seen like really super cute, tiny Chuck Taylors about this big. They make Keens for kids that are about that big. And if you ever grab one of those shoes, they don't move, they don't bend. There's not a possible way they could because the rubber is too short to actually flex and move the way it should. And so we stick our feet in these shoes our entire life. And what this ends up acting like is a soft cast for your foot. So the extreme of that would be Chinese foot binding. You all saw pictures of that in your textbooks of what these women's feet looked like after years of binding their feet. They didn't really look like a foot at all. And for somebody who is indigenous and has not had shoes their entire life, our feet look sick, weak, and weird to those people because this acts like a soft cast for your foot. Can you imagine if from your first year of life onward, every single day before you left the house, you put something that was this stiff with zero dexterity for your fingers over your hand? Would you be able to write your name? Would you be able to drive your car? Would you be able to brush your teeth? You would not. Your hand would be neurologically incompetent. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say neurologically incompetent? Your feet are the exact same. When you're born, your brain dedicates just as much sensory development to your feet as it does your hands. And in a perfect world, every step we take sends our brain vital information about the surface that we're on to our brain. The foot sends it to the brain so that we can understand what kind of surface we're on, so we can move our foot. Without that, the foot gets stupid. And add to that, not only are we in a soft cast for our foot all day, but on top of that, we're walking around on hard, level surfaces 24/7. And so our foot does not have to conform to the terrain. Our foot does not have to understand what it's stepping on. Your foot already thinks it knows what it's stepping on, which is why it's so easy to twist an ankle. Twisted ankles really just shouldn't happen that easy, but you step wrong off a curb and all of a sudden your foot can't handle that. But in reality, in a normal circumstance, it absolutely should be able to.